Hi folks, in this video I would like to show you my latest project, which is an Engravers mock-up of a ball vise. And as you can see here, I have a I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'll show you. There's the centre of it, the centre of the wheel. What it is, it's a caravan jockey wheel. Now you've all seen the GRS ball vices, engravers vices, and they have a rubber tyre on the bottom. Well, this one here almost resembles it perfectly. 170mm diameter, which I'll put the link to. And what I've got to do to it now, after removing the centre, I've built this jig, which is a piece of plywood, to hold this wheel safely. And what I've got to do, I've got to make a profile on this inner curve here to match the ball, which I'll show you shortly. So we'll put that into the tripod, and then I'll finish off profiling it as it was. So just the last check, just to make sure it's running central. Now that's a plywood shaft, and I've got the tailstock up there so nothing can come off, and that's a really nice tight fit onto the rubber, onto the inner surface. So we'll finish that off. It just needs one little bit more tickling on this inner edge here to get it to match the ball perfectly. So we'll do that. Have a look at that and see what that looks like. Just a little bit more. I'm trying to get the ball to sit down in it as far as I can. Not quite touching the table underneath, but it's deep enough to give it a really firm grip. I think we'll be somewhere near now. I'm going to leave it at that and see how it goes. So I'll remove that from the jig. Right, you can see the jig there, piece of plywood with a slight taper on it to go into the centre. So there you can see the profile now on there. So that ball should sit in there quite nicely now. Get rid of the excess dust. So I'll pause the video for 1 second, and then I'll set up on the other bench and we'll take things from there. So here we are with the ball, and this is actually a shot put, Olympic grade shot put made by Bryan. And what I've done, I've made an adapter to screw into the top, and if you look closely you'll see that it has a blanking plug that comes out. How they make these, it's a solid steel ball with about a 30mm hole going down to about halfway, and inside there they fill it up with lead to get it up to the perfect weight. So luckily there's a hole there left, deep enough that it's about 1.25 inches deep, and so just simply remove the screwed cap. And what I've done, made out of nylon 66. Out of this nylon 66 I've made this adapter, and the threads are quite rough in there, so what I did, I turned them down till it was an almost interference fit, so it can cut its own threads into this nylon, which it does quite nicely. Stop it from lifting out, so that screws into there. That's nice and tight. Then that ball fits into that rubber tyre which I've just turned absolutely perfectly, and it's got a really good purchase in there. And what I'm doing, I'm making this vise for doing hand graving, because I found with the GRS, when you're tapping on the top, the ball, even though the ball's tight, it's not quite tight enough to stop the ball moving. So I've made myself one out of this shotput. And then to finish off the vise itself, I got myself a 4-jaw self-centering chuck and a back plate which has a spigot tapered, Morse 2 tapered shaft, which I've turned down there to match perfectly. And all that remains to do is to sit it in there. It's an almost interference fit. Now you can see why I wanted to make this ball sit nice and firm, so it doesn't. So when you're actually engraving, you can come over to an angle of around about 45 degrees without it moving. There's still some good purchase there. So that's the version of the hand engraver's vice, and that there is, it's got some distance left between the chuck and the thing there for when it wears in, which will take quite a few years, I would think. And you can turn it quite easily. Turns quite smoothly because the nylon 66 is a very good hard bearing wearing surface. And what else I've done to complement the chucks, to mimic the ones that you can already buy from retail world, I've drilled the chuck here. You can see I've drilled these jaws to take these little pins. There's 4 of those. And the holding capacity of this is quite enormous compared to the run-of-the-mill engraver's vices, basically. So you can come right out to a distance of comfortably there, probably 5 to 6 inches diameter. And the beauty of the self-centering chuck, you also get another set of jaws for holding right up to the centre. And I'm going to adapt it to take, there's another row of holes drilled there and 5mm Allen keys. I'm going to thread those in the bottom, and I'm going to make other attachments for doing rings, etc, etc, which is the next stage. So there's the setup. Again, I tried to do things for less than £100, and luckily one of my subscribers has donated these parts for this project. So if you know who you are, he doesn't want me to give the name, so thank you very much, Mr. Subscriber. Your help is much appreciated, and I hope people can go on and make something like this for themselves. Like I say, for less than £100, and you're getting much more scope than you would with a standard engraver's vice. So there's not much more to say about it actually, but the whole thing weighs, I would think, about 12 kilos, and really substantial, and it has the extra height as well for standing up doing the hand engraving. So that's a caravan jockey wheel. That ball there actually weighs, it's 7.26 kilograms ball, and the chuck itself is at least another 4 or 5 kilos. I haven't measured it exactly because I haven't got any scales that go high enough to weigh it. So that can that's a really good fit, is that 2 Morse taper. As you can see, it'll hold that ball there quite nicely. It will come off if you tap it off. So I'm really chuffed, over the moon, and my first real donation from a subscriber, and here we are, the end result. So if you've got any comments or any other questions that you'd like to ask about it, just feel free to ask, and in the next video I'll show you some of the attachments I'm going to make for it, and the tools I made earlier, the engraving tools with the red handles, the pink ivory handles, we're going to be in action and having a go, and suck it and see, as they say. So, from a tiny red shed in Yorkshire, thank you all again for watching. Bye for now.